Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would like to do a reading for the second half of July for Aquarius. So shall we see what July has in store for you yet? Okay, that sounds a little ominous, but I don't get that feeling at all. All right, so in the heart of the matter, we have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords, you need to take care of yourself, Aquarius. So that's about retreat. Of course, many people are in retreat now with the pandemic. So, I mean, that could have to do with that. But a lot of times I feel like that card comes up when there's a reason you need to take care of yourself. It can be a stressful time, and people sometimes need to take care of their mental health, you know. Just be comforting to yourself. Don't be afraid to rest. And sometimes it's physical health. Take care of yourself. Now the swords on the wall are sometimes about putting your worries away. You're trying to figure everything out away. You're striving away. Let's put it on the wall for now and let's just rest. So sometimes that card's about physical rest, and sometimes it is about mental rest, you know, like a break from the thinking, the planning, and it can even be physical exercise that gives you that, or socializing, or just deciding, I am not going to figure this out tonight. It will keep for tomorrow. You know, sometimes it's that. So anyway, you are encouraged to take good care of yourself. The clarifier, the challenge, is the Page of Wands, of course. Of course it is. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So you have, I just feel like don't get too wrapped up in the thoughts and planning. You already have good planning. Pick it up. Do the next thing. Move toward the goal that you feel like you should move toward today. It may be that the second half of July it's sort of like that, you know. It's not a huge leap forward in resolving a specific problem or something you'd like to have progress on. Maybe it's just a time to not worry too much about solving your whole life problem. You know, and just pick up the next thing that gives you some energy, some purpose, some enthusiasm. Pick up the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It can be about that. It can be good progress on a specific thing that you have already begun, because that's the page, it's not the ace. It can be progress on that, and that's really nice. Okay, underneath it all, we have the Emperor. Okay, so that's that take charge. I just feel like it's obvious to you that you need to do this, you need to do that. It's not time to do this or that. You know, again with the theme of not feeling like it's the time to solve any kind of problem that's been on your mind. The Emperor can be really take charge energy, but it can also be very realistic energy that assesses the situation and says, I can do this. Can't take care of that right now, but I can take care of this. So maybe that's the Page of Wands, the thing you can take care of. But very matter of fact, very always looking for the greater good, working toward the greater good of everyone, following the rules. But the rules that are made, they can be societal norms, they can be, you know, more formal rules, but following the rules because it makes sense, because it's best for everyone, that kind of thing. In the past, we have the Nine of Cups. So that is the Witch card. So there may have been a time when you felt like, yes, I have accomplished something. I have some security. There might have been emotional kind of sense of satisfaction. Or you may have gotten your wish in the recent past. So it's nice. I like that Nine of Cups because to me it symbolizes the progress you've already made. See, now this man is a merchant who has earned his cups, you know, so it sort of symbolizes the progress you've already made in developing a life that is satisfying to you. And maybe recently you've had some appreciation of that. Not that it's perfect, I do feel a tension here too, somehow in the heart of this reading, like, you know, there is something that you'd like to be able to, a dragon you'd like to slay, a challenge you'd like to just be done with, just win, you know, and I know you can. Aquarius. So, but it's not like the right time in these 2 weeks. So I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it looks like, to me, I just feel this sense of striving. Like you want to complete something. You're almost there. So you've had your wish. Above it all is the Nine of Swords. So there's something you're worrying about. And it may even keep you up at night. So you've got to watch that. That goes with the Four of Swords, actually. That really goes with that interpretation. The Nine of Swords comes up when Spirit really wants us not to be worrying. Certainly don't try to figure everything out at nighttime when you're tired, or when you're not on a day when you're not feeling very well or very strong. That's not the time to figure it all out. Sometimes it's hard to wait, especially for air signs that are very cerebral, very intellectual, very good at planning. Sometimes it's hard to wait till the right time, but that too is saying there are some things you can't figure out right now, and much better to just focus on what you're doing right now, the goal you're doing right now. Much better to focus on that. Immediate future, we have the Five of Wands. So there's some conflict, could be internal conflict, but there's some conflict, not serious. The Five of Wands is, they're doing an exercise, the pages are. So they are trying to sharpen their skills is what they're doing. And they each have their different ideas. They each have their different goals and purposes. And so it's usually about, if it's conflict between people, it's some disagreement or debate between people, or arguing between people who accomplish something together. They have some sort of relationship to each other. So it's not terrible. It's just, be aware that it's sometimes when you're in the middle of it, it's really hard to think of it as, well, we are negotiating, how we're going to approach common goals, Sometimes it's hard to remember it's that. So sometimes Spirit brings us that for that reason, to remind us of that. And yeah, don't take it too seriously, is what I'm getting. If it's internal conflict, because like I said, we've got the Nine of Swords here, we've got the Four of Swords there. If there's internal conflict, like what do I do? What's next? Again, I think it's just pick up the next thing you're going to be doing and don't worry about figuring the whole thing out. At the root of the matter, we have the King of Cups. So you ride it out, and you've got some really good mature energy there in sort of knowing how to cope with this. Yeah, so I feel like things are turning. If you've had trouble with the Nine of Swords, if you've had some trouble with the Four of Swords, things are turning for you right now. And as they do, you're not letting that stuff get too out of control. You're getting more emotionally centered. Watching this reading may be part of that. You're getting more emotionally centered, as you tend to do, because of the maturity and the insight about emotions. And you're going to ride this out. Oh, Wheel of Fortune in the environmental effects on you right now. So in other words, it is a time for a new era. There's something that feels like it's destined to have happened. And it's ushering in a new time. And so this is probably greater than you, but it's certainly affecting your life as well. So that's always challenging, but good. Usually it's good. It's entering a new beginning that needed to happen. Hopes and fears. We're not doing hopes and fears, are we? Well, we'll use this as a clarifier because I didn't call it the outcome. Delay. Yep. We have the Hanged Man. Okay. Well, that's the clarifier for the Wheel of Fortune then. So that's about, this is something that takes a while. And we can get upset about that, or we can choose to accept it and be in a sort of restful yoga pose like this guy, and assume that it's going to take longer for us to figure out what we need to figure out, because maybe we need a new perspective on it. Maybe it's just going to take the time it takes for us to really understand what's next in our lives, what's next for everyone. Outcome, Two of Wands, wonderful. So that is weighing your options. That's the World Explorer card. He's got the world in his hands, and he is wondering which way to go. There's a main priority that really draws him, but he's got another main priority. A couple ways he could go. So you're going to be weighing your options. What draws me more? Maybe this is a time of getting more in touch with your passion and with that King of Cups, and what is emotionally fulfilling to you. You know, sometimes, Aquarius, you can get so into reasoning things out and using your good mind to figure out great plans. And usually that's terrific. But there are some times in life when you don't have all the information you need to make the plan you'd like to make. So you develop other aspects of who you are. So this might be a time of gaining emotional insight. It might be a time of understanding what makes you passionate, understanding what is life-giving to you, and weighing your options. 5 of Swords is a victory card. Right. One of the options you're weighing to let a really life-giving priority kind of ascend in importance, one of the options you're weighing may mean you have to cut something away about a previous plan or a previous direction. But that's okay, because it's the Wheel of Fortune time. It's time to sometimes call, well, that's a victory card too, sometimes call certain goals or plans satisfied or no longer relevant. And sometimes it is time to take the victory by cutting them away and knowing that you've learned everything you can out of that, and you've taken it as far as you can take it, and it's time for something new. And we have the Chariot. So it looks like there's going to be some kind of, or there already is, some kind of external situation that is also pulling you forward. And it may be a sudden change, but that's good. Because I feel like sometimes that Chariot comes in when we really kind of need it, because it's really hard to change our trajectory. If nothing changes, nothing changes. You know, we tend to stick with the same routines, the same people, the same work, the same leisure pursuits, the same habits. But the Chariot can pull us right out of that and help us to move forward in our life. It might feel a little out of control, yes. It might feel like you're torn in 2 different directions a bit, but you are going forward. It's okay. So that we have the 2 of Wands and we have the 2 Sphinxes with the Chariot. Isn't that interesting? So, you know, second half of July may not be the time to make a big decision, but you're certainly considering some. And you're considering them from a very balanced perspective that takes emotions into account, relationships, takes fire and passion into account. So it's a good time. It's a good time. All right. Well, thank you so much, Aquarius. Have a wonderful rest of July. Bye-bye.